Welcome to Spiritual Invitation. I'm your host, Carla Augustyn, inviting you to explore spirituality. Joining me today is Millie Greneau, and she's here to talk to us about how to stay sane in a crazy world. Now, a little bit about Millie. She is the author of 11 books, including Oasis in the Overwhelm, 60-Second Strategies for Balance in a Busy World. Millie is a coach, a singer, motivational speaker, and therapist. She is an instructor in psychiatry at Yale University School of Medicine. In addition, she is a retreat leader, trainer, and is bilingual in English and Spanish. Millie owns 2 businesses, Greneau LLC and Oasis in the Overwhelm. Hi.
Hi.
So nice to finally meet you.
I know.
Thank
Long
you.
time.
I know,
Yeah.
really. Thank you. It's wonderful. So I just want to comment that you're a perfect example of someone who's doing everything that she loves. So you must really work at making sure you don't become overwhelmed or your world gets too crazy.
Well, the truth is I do get overwhelmed from time to time, so I know what it's about. And practically speaking, I need to practice what I preach, or else I would just fall apart or totally run out of energy or go in too many directions at once. So
you know enough to catch yourself
Yeah.
and go right to the relaxation and all the Oasis tips. All right, well, before we get into all of that, let's talk about your spiritual journey. When did you begin that?
Well, probably in utero, you know, as with all of us. I was born into a very Catholic family in Kentucky. I was the 5th of 7 children, and we were brought up really to do the best, whatever we thought was the best for God and the world. And at the time when I grew up, the highest you could be was either a nun or a priest. And of course I couldn't be a priest since I wasn't a man. So I went to join the Maryknoll Sisters. But I remember taking the test that same year for Peace Corps and wondered, is it going to be 2 years for John F. Kennedy and the USA, or will it be my whole life for God and the whole world? And being very idealistic, I chose the latter. And that was the beginning of a very interesting trip for me then. Should I continue with that trip?
Yes.
I was actually a Maryknoll sister for 8 years. Novitiate, postulant, etc. And the goal of the Maryknoll Sisters is to go to other cultures and learn with them and from them. When I was in Latin America, I tease and say it cracked my head open, meaning that the people there and the spirit just opened me to so many more things that I had not been aware of before.
Such an experience being in a different culture.
Very different culture, different values. And what happened for me then, I tease and say that they converted me out of the church because the church was very hierarchical. I didn't believe many of the things they were saying then and didn't want to represent that. So that led to me leaving
after
the
8
convent
years.
after 8 years. And that was a dark time because I had no idea what I would do. You know,
Were you sure about leaving? Or was
I
that a
was
struggle?
sure that
you
if
knew?
I stayed, I might die. My
really?
spirit
Your
would
spirit.
die. Yeah, I knew that I had to get out. I can remember the chief superior said, pray for your vocation. So I prayed very hard, and I told her that God said, leave, because I wasn't meant to be doing that for my life. But I had
Or
not
to continue. You had a beautiful experience.
Oh,
it opened
it
you
was
up so much.
wonderful.
Right,
It was
right.
wonderful.
And then it doesn't mean you do it forever.
No, it wasn't. For a while, I thought it was lost time. And I think that's the way that many of us feel if we've entered a marriage or a career and it doesn't exactly turn out what we had imagined. We wonder, what have we done? But in the long run, you know, the big picture, I can see it was such a vital part of who I am
Who you are
now.
contributing to your growth, sure.
Yeah.
Sure. Okay, wonderful. So then you went on, so you left. So what
I
what
left.
did you do?
Ended up in New Haven kind of by accident, mainly because I wanted to be around Spanish-speaking people. I did not want to go back to Kentucky where everyone knew me, knew my family, wanted to start fresh where I knew nobody. So I ended up here, was fortunate enough to get a job teaching English to people from 25 countries. And I knew by then that one of the joys of my life was doing music with people. And I found a bass fiddle teacher, which was a passion for me. So I was in New Haven 2 years, and then wild and crazy times in Spain, in Barcelona, where I again taught English, studied music, and did all kinds of things that I had never done before.
So did you always know this about yourself, that you were an adventurous spirit, or was that coming out, do you think?
I think that was coming out. I
okay.
believe that the Latin people helped that come out in me, that expressiveness, connection with a different kind of spirituality and different kind of expressiveness, that I feel grateful to that time there for that opening up in me. Yeah. I guess I was adventurous before, but not to that extent.
To that extent,
Yeah.
So now then you said you had a near-death experience.
Yeah.
Tell us about that.
That was shortly after I had begun another adventure, which was marrying for the first time and inheriting a couple of teenage stepsons, which was all. I went biking with a friend right around Deep River, great place to go biking, and I still don't know exactly what happened. My friend Joe thinks I hit a pothole and was thrown over the handlebars and knocked unconscious. He was afraid that I was dead because I didn't move.
Oh, wow.
It was before cell phones. He didn't know, stay with me, leave, what. So finally a car came along and brought me somehow to the green at Deep River, and a Lifestar helicopter flew me the 42 miles to Yale New Haven ER. And that whole experience was a real wake-up time for me. Like, you will appreciate this because you're so aware of the body. I came to consciousness only once during that helicopter trip, and I remember hearing the whir of the helicopter, and I felt the hands of the EMT woman, and I thought, she's good.
She knows what she's doing.
And I
I'm in
just
good hands.
relaxed into
Wow.
that.
Isn't that
And
wonderful, though?
yeah,
that you
if
felt
she
that?
had not been that way, who knows?
Right.
Who
you might have
knows what had
panicked.
happened?
Right,
Yeah,
right.
yeah.
But you felt relaxed.
And the whole experience then in the ER was not always great. That woke me up because I worked at the mental health division of that hospital.
Oh, so
and
you became aware maybe of
yeah,
how people are
it was-
treated?
yes,
Yes, okay.
yes. So that was a really strong wake-up call. And in my recoup time in my backyard hammock, that's when I realized if I wanted to keep working, I really had to change how I was living my life, because I was in that fast-paced rat race type thing.
So your world was crazy. all the
Yeah,
time.
it was
Yeah,
crazy.
I can't do
I was
this.
doing good things, but like,
Right.
and no focus, focus, yes, but
But how do
not
you balance? How do you balance what
exactly.
you love to do and you want to do,
Yes,
but not allow your world to get crazy?
exactly, yeah.
Okay, so you say that your goal is to help us stay sane
Yeah.
in a crazy world.
Yeah.
Okay, tell us more about that.
Well, actually, I shift that a little bit to help us get even saner
Okay.
in a world that right now is really pretty crazy. The pace that so many of us are going in, the culture, all that's happening in the world. And it can be a crazy world, and we can find ways not to get swept up in it and to keep our grounding. And it doesn't take a lot of money. You don't have to go away to a retreat or an ashram. And I knew I didn't have the time or money to do that. So that's why I focused on finding, like, what are 60-second strategies that I could do almost any time, anywhere, to help me.
So So you're wondering about just yourself first.
Oh,
and then you
me
realized,
first.
Yeah, you first.
Yeah,
Okay.
yeah.
Now, stress is so prevalent these days. What are some of the ways that stress does affect us?
What are some of the ways it doesn't? You know, it's really, well, actually, one of my favorite quotes about stress is from Dr. Hans Selye, who says that stress is the spice of life. And if you cook, you know, if you have too much spice, it ruins it. And if you don't have any, it's blah. But that lack of balance affects us emotionally, in terms of relationships, our moods. Intellectually, we can't focus or think. Physically, so many diseases have a relationship to stress. And spiritually, if we lose our connection with ourself in the larger picture in this stress, we're losing ourselves and our meaning. Yeah.
So it does. It affects the whole
Whole
body.
person.
It's just not just the physical, which you
No.
might find yourself getting exhausted.
Yeah.
But it's everything. It's
Yeah.
emotional and your thoughts and,
Yeah.
and just spiritually.
Fatigue, energy, how we deal with each other, our families, all of that. Yeah.
So what I'm hearing is just finding that balance of what's exciting to you and
Yes,
you want
yeah.
to do,
Yeah.
but not letting it, such a good word, not letting it get to the overwhelm.
Right.
Not
Or when it gets there, to recognize
Recognize
as
it
soon as you
and
can.
see if you can turn it
Whoops,
around. Yeah.
time to stop. I tease, about Bed Bath & Beyond. I have a new thing that I just got was B, and T. Every morning now I take time to just before I begin the day, sit with a cup of tea. So it's B, and T. Break, breathe, and tea. Just
Very nice. Yes.
Yeah.
Right. Even just to begin your day, even though you just woke up, we can create so much anxiety thinking about what we have to
all
do
the
during the
things
day.
ahead. Yeah. Yeah.
So you wrote the book, Oasis in the Overwhelm. How and why did you write it?
Well, after I couldn't work for 6 months, and when I went
after your accident.
after the accident, when I went back to work, I began doing these strategies for myself. And some of my colleagues began noticing, oh, something's different about Millie. What's happening? So they inquired, and I began teaching. And actually, the first group that I taught with was at hospice with the social workers and nurses. And they really grabbed these 60-second strategies. And after that, I just began doing more workshops. And after about 5-10 years, I thought, oh, enough of handouts. Let me do a whole book.
There you
That
go.
and at that same time was when all the new neuroscience was coming out about how we really can rewire our brains. And I used to think that, like, worry, I was doomed to worry all my life because my mother was the queen of worry. It's just a habit that I can shift. So began putting that, I wanted to get that science into the book too, along with the strategies and examples. So people wouldn't think it's just a fluff or just an affirmation. No, it's really
No, it's real
solid.
science.
Yeah.
So would you say it's almost like developing a new habit?
Yes.
You know, if worry's
Yes.
a habit, saying enough of that, turn that one off.
Change the channel,
And change the channel, and now let me go to the 60-second
whatever.
whatever.
Yeah.
Okay. What's it like to be a motivational speaker?
It's a kick. Because one of the things I do love being with people and all kind. I don't think I even put in there for a year and a half. I made my living singing at Mexican restaurants. Every Mexican restaurant in a 20-mile radius, Sloppy Jose, Viva Zapata, El Torero. So there's something about the interacting, performing, but connecting with people. So in the motivational speaker, I'm not one who's up there, blah, blah, blah. It's always interactive in getting people to do things with me. And every group is so different.
Oh, sure.
Like the U.S. Army hired me to do 2 days of training at Fort Sam Houston on trauma and mindfulness. And what an opportunity
Oh,
to
absolutely.
work with those people, and they would, they just grabbed onto it. And it's like, with an elementary school, it'd be different. Chamber of Commerce is different. Coaches, it's different. I have one little line I might say, okay, if I sing a song?
Yeah, sure, please.
Just snap your fingers. Do you want to perform at peak and to boot get a good night's sleep? Are you stretched out to the max? Do you need some ways to relax? Well, really? Call Millie. That's it. So whatever can help people get in, and I always
To relax.
Yeah,
So they're listening to you.
to relax. And there's something about music that I get them doing with me, like you gotta accentuate the positive, and just something shifts. It's I love motivational speaking.
Oh, I bet. I bet it's a thrill, whether it's 10 people or 100 people.
You got it.
Yeah.
You got it. I did the, in Mount Sinai Hospital, my brother has multiple sclerosis.
Sclerosis?
Yes,
Okay.
yes, for 10 years. I'm locking on it. But I came in to do a keynote for their big convention at Mount Sinai, and there were 500 people in the Grand Hyatt, the families and patients and docs, and that was, but I might be in a basement with Head Start here, and it's just making, because we're all looking for ways to live our lives with meaning.
Now, when you speak, you often claim that in 60 seconds you can change your life. Now, 60 seconds, that's a minute.
Right.
Is that really true?
It's really true in the sense that in that short of time, sometimes even in 10 seconds, you can flip a switch that points you in a different direction. I'm not saying like, oh, 60 seconds, buy this and you'll be different forever.
No, right.
It's you can turn that switch and begin to develop a process, a habit that makes a huge difference in your life. Not only for you, but for the people around you too. Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
So it's just a matter of choosing to do so. I am going to do this for myself. Just take 60 seconds and do it. Now, would you demonstrate one of your Oasis strategies?
Sure.
Okay, great.
You willing to do it with me?
Yes, absolutely.
So one of my favorite ones, do you know Thich Nhat Hanh, the Buddhist monk?
Yes.
Well, fortunately, the year after my bike accident, my neighbor introduced me to him and told me about a retreat he was doing 20 years ago.
Oh, wow.
And I did a week with him, and he's the one who taught this stone meditation. And he taught it to children, knowing that if the kids got it, we adults might learn. And I'll tell you a little bit about what he said. He brought them down to the lake and said, just choose, pick up a stone, choose one that you like.
Calling you. Okay, I'm going to take this
because
one.
you get to keep it.
Oh, thank you.
So one that looks right and feels right for you.
This is calling me.
Good.
Yeah.
So he told the children a little bit about when he was in Vietnam. He said there was a war going on. You kids don't know that, but your parents know about it. But I was in a monastery, and I wanted to help the orphans and the wounded, not take political sides. But so I went in to help them, but I lost it because I wasn't used to being in the streets. And you kids are in the streets. So this was a little thing that I began doing that helped me stay calm and grounded, even when things around me were crazy. So I'll just teach it to you, kids.
Absolutely.
And if you're home watching this, you don't need a stone. Get a penny, a paper clip. I did it with
Anything
a woman.
to hold.
Anything. A woman on the phone did it with her tube of lipstick.
There
Whatever.
You go. Whatever you can put in the palm of your hand.
Just look at it. And the thing about this, he said, it's not about closing your eyes and going away to a peaceful place. It's about developing the emotional muscles to be right here, right now, with whatever's going on.
Being present with the stone.
You got it.
Okay.
So usually we do it 10 breaths, but we'll just do it 5
Okay.
now. Does it? But first of
So
all,
what do we
look
do?
at your stone. What colors is it? Just notice the colors. Is it the same on both sides?
Mine are different. Mine's a different shape.
Yeah.
On one side is the other.
Uh-huh.
Mine is a solid color, and I think that's why I grabbed it, although there's a few specks I'm noticing that I
Okay.
didn't notice before.
Yeah. And what's its temperature? How much does it weigh? Any nicks or scars in it, or is it perfect? It's been around a lot longer than we have. Yeah. So all we'll do now is looking at the stone, just breathe in and out 5 times.
Okay.
Easy.
Just looking at the
Just
stone and
looking
just
at the stone.
letting my mind just kind of
Just
whatever,
do
just look
whatever
at the stone.
And if it goes somewhere else, don't
Right.
fuss at it.
right. Okay.
Just bring it back
Just
to your
back
next
to looking
breath
here.
and the stone.
Okay.
Any questions, or shall we
No,
go?
let's
and
go.
if you're at home, do it with
Let's
us.
do it with us, please.
Ready? And just hang out with your stone and yourself a couple seconds more, and notice whatever you notice, not with judgment, just curiosity. And if it feels right for you to say it out loud, do, but you don't have to.
I think what I enjoyed was the quiet,
Yeah.
the silence
It's so rare in our culture.
that we hear nothing. It's
I-
beautiful, though. It's
I
almost like it's a
say-
beautiful sound to hear silence.
Exactly. It's a radical act in this culture. Like, I go in to get my oil changed, and there's television blaring, and the doctor's waiting room.
They've got TVs on now, too.
Yeah.
Yes, yes.
So you enjoyed the richness of the silence.
Just silence.
Yeah.
And I really do think, even if there were commotion around me, I still would have heard silence.
Yes. Yes.
That's what's so nice about the focusing.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh,
Yeah.
I love it.
It's ironic. Many times I've done this in a large hotel room, you know, with a group of people.
Sure.
And so many times when I do it, for whatever reason, there's big commotion in the hall, like they're cleaning the hall that wasn't there before. But it's like,
It's okay.
here we are.
This is the
Here
world.
we are.
This
This is
the
it.
world. You can do this anywhere. You don't have to run to your bedroom when no one's home.
You got it.
Yeah, you can do
got
this
it.
anywhere. So
Yeah.
people carry it with them then.
Yeah.
You recommend that people
Well, yes.
have
Can I
it in
tell
their
you
purse?
2 stories?
Sure.
And this person doesn't mind if I tell about him. He's the CEO of a big executive group, and his wife introduced him to me because she knew I taught stress management. And so she said, and I said, introduce me fine. So, Millie, how are you? And I told him, what do you do? I'm a coach. I teach stress management. I'm a type AA personality. I don't have time for that. So I said to him, I don't want you to lose your fire, Tony, because it's wonderful. I want you to use your fire. His wife had told me he had had 2 heart attacks in his 40s, and he had teenage children that he wanted to see. So I said, I want you to use your fire. So, okay, Millie, nice meeting. About a month later, he called me. I think his wife was behind the phone. I have time to come in for an hour. So he came in. I taught him the strategies. Didn't know if it made any difference. But I saw him downtown about a month later. He shakes my hand. You ready? How are you, Millie? He had the
He had
stone
the stone
in his hand.
Oh.
That was 12 years ago. I saw him a couple of months ago. Millie, my original stone got lost at the cleaners, but I have another stone.
Another one.
Yeah. So, and
Oh, see.
my 5-year-old nephew, who probably would be considered Asperger's or whatever when he was a kid, taught him 15 years later, he has his stone and uses it. So it's, I meet people in the
So
supermarket.
really, anybody of any age. So we're
Any
talking
age.
children, any age.
Even on the autism spectrum, it's something so tangible. Head Start kids, I do it with. Seniors, I love doing it with seniors. Yeah. So,
Wonderful.
yeah.
Okay, what is most rewarding about your work? Would you say when you run into people like Tony, or?
I think it's realizing that I have the opportunity to do this with so many people. Sometimes it's like, well, you know how you can doubt yourself. What are you doing? What are you not doing? But when I look at the big picture, it's like I know this is my tiny contribution to peace in the world. And it touches so many more people than I can touch. They
tell their friends.
Yeah. One of the women taught the stone to her kids, and one day she said, I was really upset. And my 5-year-old came up and said, Mommy, let's do the one stone. You know, so that's rewarding.
Fabulous. That's rewarding to hear
Yeah.
something like that.
Yeah.
When you bring peace to people's lives.
Yeah.
It's
In
really.
just those tiny ways. Yeah.
What's spirituality mean to you?
I think it's something that's very practical and immediate. And I don't really have a definition of it. It's being, as the Buddhists might say, being awake, because that's what the word Buddha means, awake and aware of what's going on, and then asking what I call the two big questions. Who am I and what am I here for? Right this instant. And every instant is different and has an opportunity. Like right here, I'm enjoying. It's the first time I've met you. And it's
But we're having fun.
yeah.
Being present, being aware, being conscious of the present moment.
Yeah.
Oh, so important, isn't it?
Yeah, and it's like the question kind of that comes from that is, how may I help you in a way? You know, whether I'm on the highway or in the supermarket, it's like, it's not all me. It's, there's so many people, so many lives.
But finding your little place in the world of being of service and helping people. Yes, helping.
That's it. Yeah.
Any final words of advice?
Take 60 seconds right now just to be with you, with no agenda other than saying, I'm here and I'm alive, and whatever appears.
This moment is beautiful. Yes, this moment is beautiful. And not to judge ourselves.
Oh, we're so hard on ourselves because we're not perfect. It's like, duh.
It's okay.
That's the beauty. We're who we are. Yeah.
Well, thank you.
You're welcome.
Love my stone.
Good.
I'm going to have it with me.
Wonderful.
I really appreciate it. This has been wonderful, and I do hope all the viewers will take your suggestion and find themselves a crystal or a stone or anything.
Even
that's
a penny,
handy.
a button.
Even a penny, a button, anything.
Yeah.
And just hold on to it and look at it and give themselves 60 seconds.
You got it.
Thank you, Millie.
Thank you. It was fun.
It was fun. So to learn more about Millie, you can go to her website at milliegreneau.com. If you have any questions for me or ideas for the show, I would love to hear from you. You can get in touch with me at carlaaugustyn.com. I want to thank you for watching. This has been Spiritual Invitation. I'm your host, Carla Augustyn, inviting you to explore spirituality.